So while I'm trying to locate my family here in Walmart, I want to talk about the book of Job. And I've been debating on whether or not to make this video. It's not like it's like bad or anything. I don't know. Again, it's another complete 180 from what I've experienced getting told from churchianity, and quite frankly from what I see a lot of people on the internet, to what I read multiple times in the book of Job. And it seems like the general consensus is Job was awesome and praise the Lord, even though he got, well, let's start back before that. Like, it seems like a lot of people just don't realize or been told that, like, the Lord let the devil ruin Job's life. Just on a bet. It was like that movie Trading Places where the two old rich guys bet $1 that they could ruin Eddie Murphy's life, or ruin, what's his name, Dan Aykroyd's life, and elevate Eddie Murphy's life over $1. Caused all that heartache and problems over $1. So let's start out with that. That's just not deniable. I know that, like, Christians just go into, like, denial mode whenever there's a part in the Bible where they don't like the Lord's doing. So there's that. Literally, it's over like, well, I bet you he won't pray to you if you take away some of his stuff. And the Lord's like, well, go and see. So they destroyed Job over a bet. So that's number one. Number two, they constantly be, well, Job praises the Lord and blah, blah, blah. No, he doesn't. Read it. 99% of that book is Job bitching about how bad he's got it and this and that. I mean, yeah, at first he still praises the Lord, but finally he breaks and he's like, this sucks, blah, blah, blah. So again, just getting a lot of reviews from people who obviously don't read the book or just, I guess, interpret reality and change it in their brains. And then at the end, there's just no redeeming parts of the book of Job, in my opinion. At the end, the Lord comes down finally, says he's had enough. This is how much Job's bitching. Because you got to remember here, the Lord is our parent and we are the children. So make things a lot simpler for people who aren't, into Christianity, or I guess people that don't want to make it simple. It's just a relationship between a parent and their child. So finally, the Lord comes down because he's had enough. When you kind of like your kid's throwing a temper tantrum and you're supposed to ignore him, so you try to ignore him for the most part. And then finally he had enough and he snap and goes, shut up. At the end, that's basically what the Lord did. He comes down and goes, shut up, Job. I'm the one who puts a roof over your head, blah, blah, blah. And there was no, that's the thing. That's what he did. The Lord's like, where are you when I made this place? The problem is, it doesn't answer any of Job's concerns, because Job has legitimate concerns that he bitches about, because it's not a short book. So I feel like it's the equivalent of when your child actually makes a good point and you're wrong, instead of breaking things down, or maybe you're not even being wrong, but your child just makes a good point and you have to explain further, and you have to actually try and come up with a good reason as to why bad things happen, or whatever else. I mean, I'm sure parents out there will know what I'm talking about, and people that aren't parents, maybe they're just explaining to other people just why something happened, and it's hard because you don't have a good answer. And so that's basically what the Lord did. He comes down and is basically, shut up, where were you when I put food in your mouth? And he didn't actually answer any of Job's concerns at all. He just basically said, shut up and suck it up. So again, not quite sure why the book of Job got put in there. Doesn't reflect good on humanity, because it shows the second we lose something, we cry spoiled brats. It doesn't paint the Lord in a good light, because he basically is just shut up. I made this, you got a deal. I mean, I get that's the ultimate answer, unfortunately. So, yeah. And I'm open to ideas. But if you haven't read the book for yourself at least a couple times, I don't want to hear about how I'm wrong, but no, I'm not. Go read it. I mean, I guess you could say, the reason things suck partially is because of the sin of man, and men sin, what's sin? Breaking the law. and they do things which make the world a worse place, which impact the rest of us, which makes life harder for the rest of us. I mean, you can argue that, but that's not even going to cover really this particular instance, the book of Job, because the book of Job was specifically the Lord letting the devil do it to Job. He was targeted. So, I don't know. Again, book of Job, don't really get it. I mean, I get it. It's not like someone's going to be like, oh, you just completely misunderstood it. I'm pretty sure I didn't. I mean, maybe. Like I said, let me know. Let me know if I'm wrong.